finding the things that you want to do, finding the things that you can contribute to the team. That's very, very important. So, whatever that you have done to upscale yourself.
Welcome to The Executives, the show where we navigate in the intricate world of executive leadership, exploring strategies, insights, and personal stories of successful professionals shaping the global business landscape. I'm your host, Majid, and today we have someone joining us from the crypto industry. She has 5+ years of experience working in multiple departments, from being the head of growth to being the COO to product management. She also runs a crypto podcast called Daily Crypto News. I am happy to welcome Sarah. Annyeong haseyo, hoan yong habnida, Sarah.
Thank you. 안녕하세요. 사라입니다. Thank you. Hi, I'm Sarah. Thank you for inviting me today.
I hope I did justice to Korean, by the way.
Yes, very good. We had a lot of practice, but it was good.
It was only twice.
Very good.
Cool, cool. So, Sarah, thank you again and welcome to this episode. Can you kindly tell us more about yourself for our listeners?
Sure. I'm Sarah Kwon. I also go by JK Remote. Currently, I'm a co-host of Daily Crypto News and a co-founder of ThreadoorDAO. It's a marketing firm specifically tailored towards Web3 influencer marketing. Yeah, that's, I think, the title that I'm holding on to these days.
Fancy influencer marketing. That's cool. Um, so, today's podcast is a little different. Normally, I dig a lot about serious discussions. Today the topic for discussion is Crypto Chronicles, a glimpse into the life of a crypto professional. Because a lot of people are now applying for crypto jobs, and they're not sure about if crypto is the right industry for them. So, and then I thought, why not invite someone like Sarah, who's worked in the crypto industry, who knows a lot about the crypto industry, and share the message with the people. What happens, how is this industry working? So I'm really excited because I have partly worked with crypto a little bit, but let's talk about your experience. So my first question, I'm sounding like who would become a millionaire though, but the first thing I would love to understand is, how did you first get involved into the whole world of cryptocurrency and blockchain?
Oh, it goes back to 2018. I think that's when IEO boom was in Korea. So there were a lot of people wanting to come to Korea and Korean projects wanting to go out of Korea. And given the linguistic abilities that I had and interest in this financial industry, I helped different projects to come to Korea, do roadshows or organize events, and putting the Korean projects out in the world to help them grow. Back then, it was more of a trial, I guess, experiment for me to see if this industry is anything interesting. And I did a couple rounds of these organizing crypto events around Asia, and eventually I wanted to become part of a stable team. So I joined a team and then moved on to another team, and then I stayed until now. Hopefully, yeah, until whatever happens in crypto.
You said you organize a lot of events for crypto.
Mm.
Maybe tell us a bit more, like what kind of events were they? Were they like IPO launch or something else?
Yeah, yeah. Um, the kind of event that I organized was mostly crypto conferences, but back then it was more like finding investors for your project kind of conferences. There are also similar kind of conferences now, but people didn't move around that much as we do now. So crypto industry itself was very nascent, but also at the same time, crypto industry in Korea or in China or in specific country was very new. So whoever that wanted to find an investor in Korea They will go to Korean conferences, and whoever that has a project in Korea and wants to find an investor in, for example, Singapore, which I went a couple times, will go to Singaporean conferences. And given the characteristics that maybe Korean people have, which usually are shy in an international stage, I became kind of the bridge to either introduce the foreign projects to Korean people, whether it be a community or investors, or just potential partners. I will be there to kind of guide them through to event organization, and then finding out what Korean communities like. And then when Korean projects wants to go outside, I will do the same. So I will be the representative of the Korean project, and then find potential partners or investors for them, because for whatever reason, the project owners don't really have great ability to speak English. So that was kind of my ideal.
Mm-hmm. And how is the crypto landscape in Korea?
Um, I would say it is very, very active, more active than probably usual crypto people think.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not really opened up 100% because, like I mentioned earlier, Korean people tend to be kind of shy in international world. And I guess there are enough liquidity and community efforts inside China, so it's not so often that all Korean projects will go worldwide. So there are a lot of activities going on inside Korean market. Even traders, investors, if you were in crypto for some time now, then you would know the term kimchi premium, um, where Bitcoin price is significantly higher than other markets. For example, in Bitcoin price in US dollars or pounds or whatever other currencies that you might use, Korean exchanges sell Bitcoin way higher because we have the buying power. So that definitely represents the hype and the popularity of crypto world in Korea. But that being said, in terms of product development and the international presence of a Korean projects, I think we still need a lot of effort to improve. I do personally know also a lot of Korean influencers, for example, or projects uh, that that no other international friends that I speak English with don't know anything about, which is kind of a shame. I mean, even each country has that kind of local projects more or less, but I believe that we can do better at finding international audience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you just mentioned kimchi, the food, kimchi premium.
Yeah.
I love food,
Yes.
but so kimchi premium is because of, you mentioned that it's because of the people have buying power. But
Yeah.
how much is the difference normally? Is it like 2% or more?
Now, honestly, I don't think there is a huge difference right now. The kimchi premium, that term has existed for more than a few years. But when it was really hot, that term was hot, and people actually take advantage of kimchi premium. I think you could get up to somewhere around 10 to 20% premium. So
That's
you can buy imagine you didn't have as much regulations then compared to now. And you figure out a way to buy a Bitcoin in a very low
Mhm.
price outside of Korea, and then put it back to Korean exchange, and then sell it from Korean exchange, and you get like 10, 20, just because,
Of
just
kimchi.
because, just because of kimchi. Yes.
No, that's interesting. 10-20% is a lot when you think about
Yeah.
the market price of Bitcoin. It was like 60 grand also.
Right.
So that's up
Mhm.
to like $12,000 more per Bitcoin.
Yeah, yeah, I think
Damn.
so. Yeah. I mean, obviously the number could be different in different times, but it was a thing even in English media that people take advantage of it.
Hmm. Okay,
Mhm.
I don't know, but I'm hearing this for the like first time.
Oh,
Interesting. Which brings me to my next question. So, can you share a memorable high or low point in your crypto journey?
yeah, sure. This question is a bit hard because it's there are a lot there have been a lot of highs and lows in crypto world. It's very volatile. But I would like to say that my highest point was when I started the podcast Daily Crypto News. When I joined the Daily Crypto News back in July last year, and that was because that point was highest point for me, at least in this career, because uh, that was the first time I didn't think about making money or finding a job or whatever kind of selfish reason that I had. It was more about what is my passion and what is the thing that I can do to contribute to this industry, because I really do care about this industry. So that was my highest point, if I had to point.
Mm-hmm.
And my beloved partner now, Matthew Deemer, has been very kind to accept me to join the team. So that is my highest point. And the lowest point is sadly when Terra collapsed. I think that was May 2022. The Terraform Labs collapsed with Luna because their algorithmic stablecoin, the mechanism didn't really work, and the pegging started to break, and they ended up making a lot of people affected. And not to really blame or criticize any specific person or specific project, but I think it meant a lot to me, and it hit harder than any other crash in crypto industry, because it was a Korean project. It was made by Korean co-founders. A lot of workers were Koreans, and they had a very strong Korean community, also international community. So it was one of the very successful cases that I could think of as a Korean crypto enthusiast. Um, and I personally saw a lot of people getting hurt, not just from the news, but in my very close network, which hit really hard. And I think in a industry wise, it was also something that the product that they built, the algorithmic stablecoin, was such innovative concept that had a lot of potential to push the industry forward, and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And not a lot of people touch that subject anymore because people are scared, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a big loss in terms of a lot of aspects. So uh, at that couple months of the whole crash, like leading up to FTX and all, I think made me like reflect on what kind of person I want to be in this industry, what kind of team member I want to be in a project.
Mm-hmm.
What do I see from a project and work and in my career, like all different kinds of aspects in my crypto life kind of shifted.
Mm-hmm.
So that was lowest point.
Mm-hmm. I know someone who also was hurt deeply by Luna because he was one of the early supporters of the project, and then when it basically collapsed, I mean, I also had invested a little bit, but it was
Mm.
very little,
Yeah.
so it was not that much of a pain for me. And it basically also was Luna was one of those projects where a lot of non-crypto native people started getting involved,
Yeah. Yeah.
because the whole Bitcoin was so complex, and it's like it's still something we need to figure out. How can we like convince normal people who are not tech savvy, who are not crypto savvy, who are not enthusiasts, how can they actually use crypto in their day-to-day life?
Yeah. Right.
It's still a big struggle that we have. Because if you tell people that you need to carry a new kind of a USB stick and you need to remember 12, 13 words, and then it will ask you a random word, and then you need a password which is 25 characters long,
Right.
alphanumeric with symbols. So, it becomes a little hard for
Yes.
non-crypto, non-tech savvy people.
That will soon change. That will
It
soon
will, it
change.
will.
Yes, yes. But you have a great point. There is a huge wall that maybe crypto native people don't see,
Mhm.
but non-crypto people would see and think that that is the reason why crypto is not going to be adopted.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
mean, when I see people who are not from the crypto industry, who are just like seeing that, okay, my ex friend, made 4x money or 5x money, and then they're like, hey, you know what, we can also do the same. So they start looking for these projects,
Yeah.
and some of these projects, as we call them, are either rug pull, or shady or scammy. Try to get quick rich schemes, but they end up
Exactly.
taking the money away, of these people.
Yeah. Hmm.
And then these people basically lose all of their trust in the crypto space, because they're like, hey, I invested 1,000, 5,000 euros, and then someone basically stole my money, so how can I trust this whole industry? And that's the thing I always tell anyone I meet from crypto. This is something we need to actually look into. How can we make sure that anyone,
Yeah.
it becomes easy to pay, or it becomes super usable, that you don't need to have this long process and wait for the chain, and then this and this and this. At the back end, anything can happen,
Yeah.
but for the front customer, it needs to be like a tap of on the payment machine or something.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Exactly.
So, but I'm also seeing that it's improving, so what is one of the coolest projects? You don't need to name it, but what has been like the coolest project you have seen, which is actually good for the consumer?
Recently, I've been looking at something called commerce decentralized commerce. Uh, Not just as a marketplace, like we go to Amazon or eBay or whatever marketplace that we buy stuff,
Mm.
but the whole system from payment to logistics to selling and buying products are all on chain. So not only can you use cryptocurrency as a payment method, but all the logistics of keeping track of where the items are that you are selling and you're buying is kept on record on the blockchain
Mm.
until you get delivered. So all these information is now just kept by one or the stakeholders of the e-commerce website,
Mm.
which is fairly simple enough, I would say. I don't really bother to think about where my information goes or where is my package, and I don't worry about it's not going to be delivered, or and even if it's not delivered, there's a way to appeal and et cetera, et cetera. But the key point of the Web3, where the all participants in the whole ecosystem has a way to own your data, manage your data, um, is very well implemented in the e-commerce, in my opinion, and it's also very close to our daily life. Everybody use marketplaces in each country. It can be Alibaba in Asia, it can be Taobao or Amazon. Amazon is worldwide, so and there is whatever commerce website that you use, and people order everything online nowadays. And if that could be possible, and people know the importance of actually having the privacy back to your own system, I think it would mean a lot
Mm.
and kind of boost the usage of Web3 as well.
Mm. I mean, I understand what they're doing, but the only concern, because I've seen these videos on TikTok or on Instagram Reels, is like in US, for example, the delivery man just throws the parcel on so
Right.
how do these guys actually tackle that problem? For example, Amazon has their own logistics system, right? I mean, they
Yeah.
work with DHL and so on, but it's not that much. They have their own cars with Amazon stickers on them, like where they're
Yeah.
delivering, and they're smaller cars, electric, smaller, more environmental friendly as well. So how would these guys actually solve this problem? Or
Yeah. I mean, there are different ways to approach the problems in e-commerce sector. I mean, the transparency and efficiency of the supply chain is one thing,
Mhm,
and the relationship between the e-commerce platform and the logistics platform is another.
mhm,
The delivery guy issue. It's kind of strange to call it that, but um, is I think can be in a way fixed. I don't know if somebody thought of it, but can be fixed in a way that if the delivery managers are actually more rewarded by doing what they do, because the income issue of the delivery service people are actually widely known, because the platform takes a lot of cut, and then the delivery price has to go down and down to push down the price of the platform, right?
mhm,
So if there is a system where delivery people can be rewarded by the work that they're doing for for however it can be implemented, it could be solved at least partially. And reward system is something that Web3 people are very good at, because we care about different stakeholders participating in the product that people build. Now, of course, there is a huge issue, huge problem, where we have to also introduce that decentralized system, decentralized reward system, or whatever that we want to call,
mhm,
to them when they don't know anything about cryptocurrency or blockchain or anything like that. Like, why would they be motivated to use the decentralized platform than the current system, for example, current logistics company? Yeah, but I believe that some of the problems that we have in the e-commerce could be solved by the Web3 technology as
mhm.
well.
Interesting. And now coming to the topic, which is about your day.
Yes.
So, because you're a podcaster and also a crypto expert, so what does a typical day look like for you, juggling these two different roles?
Yes. It's fairly simple. I would say it's similar to any other people working every day. I get up and I walk my dogs, get breakfast and coffee, and straight to podcast recording. Recording as in researching the news and writing a script and recording upload. When that is done, my afternoon starts already. So my afternoon starts, then I work a little bit on the marketing firm that I'm running with my influencers, working with clients. That is also big part of my day. And I kind of wrap up my day. I try to wrap up my day around 6 or 7 p.m. But before that, I do something outside of crypto. I have a lot of interests outside of crypto too. So I do different kinds of endeavors and kind of wrap up my day around 7.
Hmm. So you wake up at 2:30 in the morning and you work till 2 o'clock. Did I get that right or no?
No. I start my work at 9 and I get up around 6, 7. So no 2 a.m. 2 a.m. Crazy
I
schedule.
I thought that was the hustler schedule. You sleep at 2 o'clock in the night and you wake up at 2:30. And then
I've
you
been
take
there. I've been there, but it's very self-destructive.
it
So
is.
I stopped doing that.
It is no, you know these videos, right? Where I
Yeah.
basically from 2 to 2:30, and then I do a workout for 4 hours where I lift like a truck on my head. Like
I
it's
honestly don't see how people can live like that. It's not sustainable.
No, it's not. I mean, all the
Oh.
people who are successful, I know, yes, they do wake up early, but they also sleep early,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I really do have to have at least like 8 hours of sleep.
Mm.
So 2 a.m. No.
Mm. And also when you're like most of the people I know who are in my network who are successful are people they have families, so they have kids to take care of,
Also,
so they
yes.
have to wake up early, so no
Yeah.
one bugs them when they are trying to, like, in the morning, like whenever they want to go out for a walk and or something. So they say, Majid, the best time is in the morning, because after you come back from work, kids are waiting that you will go and play with them, so then you have to take out, and
True.
then when you come home you're just tired, you don't want to do anything, you just want to eat and then sleep. So
Yeah. Just take a rest at the end of the day,
you
right?
know cool. So because
Hmm.
you're a podcaster, so maybe tell us a little bit about what exactly is daily crypto news.
Daily Crypto News is a weekly crypto news. I guess that's self explanatory. We
Mm-hmm.
post 10 to 15 minutes length of news only about crypto industry. And we take a break on the weekends.
Mm-hmm. You take a
It's a that's a very simple explanation, but that's all. We
mm,
but we have a very tight relationship with our listeners, so we tend to get pretty subjective about the topic. So we don't really we don't get shy about the news that we're delivering. We share our
mm,
opinions. For example, when I do the Asia focus on Friday, I go kind of full on criticizing certain markets, certain movements, certain people. It's all with good heart.
mm. I mean, in all industries, when they are being made, there are people who try to misuse the industry, right? So,
Yeah,
and I feel I mean, podcasting for me is also a form of journalism, right? As a person who's supposed to inform and educate, you should tell people that, hey, take care. There is something bad happening, or something like that. And
exactly.
I think, especially because crypto has money involved, and
Hmm.
I know people who basically invested one third of their life savings. They made money from it, of course, because they did it on a time when it was still low, and then they made money and they took the money out. But if they had lost the money,
Yes.
then what? Then they would
Ouch.
be, yeah, that it would
Hmm.
have been an ouch. Like it was a lot of money. When he told me, I was like your risk tolerance is extremely high. I cannot put that
Yes.
much. It was
No.
extremely a lot of money. But and is it like focused globally? Because crypto, as I know, the whole industry is more like a flat, surface. It's like, regardless whether your project is from Korea or it's from Argentina or from India or Pakistan or wherever it is from, like there would be someone else sitting across the globe. So when you're giving these opinions, right? Also,
Mm,
I have seen that when you give opinion, some people take it the negative way. Do you also
right.
like tend to get these people firing back that, hey, don't do this? Like I've seen conferences where there was a Bitcoin enthusiast and there was an Ethereum enthusiast, and they literally were
Right.
just like, the stage was on the other side, and they one guy was shouting from here, one guy was shouting from here. So the host actually had to jump in that, okay, so enough, we are not here to discuss Bitcoin and Ethereum, we are here to generally discuss. So do you also see that happening in your podcast, or no?
No, I would hope to think that our viewers and listeners are civil enough not to do that. But there are people sharing their honest opinion about certain projects that we cover or certain
Mm,
news. If we cover something wrong, factually wrong, or they don't agree subjectively, then they actually straight out just share with us, and we would also share it in the next episode, which is I think the fun part of it.
mm,
But we haven't had anything, at least in the period of me joining Daily Crypto News. We didn't have anyone that is a bit too offensive.
okay.
Yes.
I mean, since I started this podcast, I was not sure how is this going to run. I have had people sending me requests. Hey, can you find me this particular kind of guest? This,
Mm.
and I've been struggling a lot to find that particular kind of guest for. And also, when I was thinking about the topic for you, I was thinking like, how can I see? And then I got like a few emails that, hey, why
Ah.
are you not inviting people? And because now they are in the middle, they're working for corporates, like traditional
Uh-huh.
corporates,
Yes,
but
yes.
they are giving interviews in crypto companies, and they're now thinking, okay, we are talking about not someone who is freshly starting, we're talking about mid management,
Yeah, yeah.
and these questions I get like from them, that if they want to switch, for example, from this non crypto world, right, towards
Mm-hmm.
this crypto world, what
Mm-hmm.
should they expect? Because it's a different world.
It is. It is very different. Um, I think in the traditional finance or non-crypto world, if I may, then you might need to prepare your education, certain path, certain certificates are very much needed. And you might have like a clear path on what you should do in terms of to kind of climb the so-called corporate ladder. But in crypto world, there are also bigger company like big players who has that kind of industry culture, but most of them that I've encountered is very different from traditional job market. You don't necessarily find jobs in the job dashboard, even though nowadays there are a lot of crypto job related websites. But you people really take credits for initiatives and independence because I think the root of this industry got to be flourished to begin with was the passion that nobody actually said that you should have. Everybody had some sort of philosophical or political philosophy in their mind about cryptocurrency or blockchain technology or even cryptography that they came to the industry kind of voluntarily without thinking about, okay, I'm going to have a career and I'm going to make X amount of money in this industry, or I'm going to be a manager or executive or like climb that ladder. So people really encourage you to be in taking initiatives and finding the things that you want to do, finding
Mhm.
the things that you can contribute to the team. That's very, very important. So whatever that you have done to upscale yourself
Mhm.
or contribute to the community is very important. I've seen personally a lot of people who kind of ended up working in a project after being just a community member for a very long time. Just love the product that the project made and use those product and then share feedbacks back and forth with the developers or executives and then kind of slowly participate more
Mhm.
and more and the project offered him a job or
Mhm.
kind of worked out that way too. And I don't think they asked these people what kind of university you finished or what kind of major you had and what is the working experience previously. Like obviously you've been there for the whole time the project existed, so that is kind of an automatic voucher for them, which is I don't think it's so common in non crypto world. So if you want to start your career in this industry, you have to have interest. Otherwise,
Mhm.
it will end very quickly.
Mhm. Yep, I remember when I was trying to get into the whole crypto world.
Mm,
One of the first people, he was a Bitcoin fan. He
mm,
said, Majid, just understand what the Bitcoin solves the problem. Maybe Bitcoin might not exist after 50 years. We don't know,
yeah.
but try to understand the problem it's solving. Because if you actually look at history, uh, this peer-to-peer network, it's not new. uh,
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
Peer-to-peer lending, it's from 1991, and if you even go back, it's from 1960s. It's historically
Mm-hmm.
it has been existing. And then there was peer-to-peer file sharing as well, these softwares, and then those died out completely.
Yeah.
They died very quickly, like as soon as they launched, within 2 years, 3 years, they were dead. But then the whole Bitcoin came in, and then it's been now, how many years it's Bitcoin? 16,
Yeah. It
16,
was
17.
2008 the white paper
Yeah,
came out.
yeah,
So
16 years
hmm
almost, so it's
right.
all, it's a teenager now, Bitcoin.
Exactly.
That's what I'm going to tell people now. Yeah.
We're in
But
puberty.
that's true. So watch out for the voice changes. So
It's a very volatile time.
yeah, yeah. But you explained about why should someone actually look into a career of crypto,
Mm.
and but what do you feel is the difference actually between a non-crypto world and the crypto world in terms of career development?
Career development. Um, in the non-crypto world, I haven't really been in a non-crypto world for a long time, so I don't know very well. But from what I have learned from other people and my close friends, it has a um, it feels like there is an expiration date once you start. There is a certain period of time that you have to stick to one title and move on to the next title, and then at the end of the day you retire, and that's it. And a lot of people often feel like you are a tiny little part of a machine, a huge machine, that you don't even make any change in your company, whether or not it's a small or big company. I think that's what typical non-crypto company feel workers feel like
Hmm.
when they start their career, and to the end, I believe. But in the crypto world, it's really straight out passion projects most of the time. A lot of people have skin in the game and been there, done that, of all different kinds of historical moments in crypto. And again, it's a very young industry, so people share a lot of memory. And when you first jump into the industry, it's not because, okay, somebody said that you will have a great career path in the crypto industry, so you should, even though you don't care anything about it, you don't know anything about it. It's very hard to find anyone who hates your the crypto industry, but you are still working in a crypto industry.
Hmm.
Everybody has a personal reason to be in the industry. So the career means also a lot more personal than non-crypto world, I feel. Um, I have seen people who decided to leave crypto for good because of some negative reasons. But whoever that have been in this industry for a long time love what's going on in this industry, and really believe the technology, and really believe the fact that they can actually add value to the industry itself, which is quite fascinating. When do you ever really feel that you're making some sort of change in the world? Um, let alone an industry. I think that's pretty good deal in if you are talking about career when you choose
Hmm.
one.
Interesting. Now, because you mentioned change,
Mm.
generally people are not super happy about change, and crypto has changed also over the years. From the story of a guy buying pizza with Bitcoin to now, I wonder how does he feel. By the way, like maybe I should invite him.
Totally. I'm not sure if it's quite reachable, but sure.
But what have been some of the most significant changes that you have observed over um, since you've been working in crypto over the years?
Hmm. It's actually quite recent, and people can read an article about it. It's written by Nick Grossman, and he wrote something about it's time it's time that we're seeing that crypto native is becoming crypto enabled. I really resonate that change in the industry. Um, what I mean by that is that in the previous time, before I guess recent, a lot of people and a lot of projects emphasize the word crypto native. So I'm crypto native person, and we're a crypto native project. Everything has to be with crypto, and from the bone to soul and body and flesh and the whole team and all the mechanism, everything has to be around crypto. So we called the project or a person crypto native, and we kind of excluded non-crypto people outside of whatever that we're building. And I think people started to feel that it's it's not that good. It's not that sustainable, and there is no future if you keep excluding people and divide crypto and non-crypto, because we want people to use cryptocurrency at the end of the day. We want the mass adoption of cryptocurrency,
Mm.
more applications and lifestyle changes around blockchain technology. Whether or not those products use cryptocurrency or not, we want people to know it, and those so-called crypto native people want non-crypto native people to know more about it and understand it. Um, so I think people started to realize that crypto native, that concept doesn't work anymore. And in order for crypto native people to attract more non crypto native people, we have to make crypto enabled applications more, which is we just kind of plug cryptocurrency or blockchain technology in whatever that we already have in our daily life.
Mm.
So people might not know that there is cryptocurrency enabled or blockchain technology used in certain applications, but
Mm.
in the back end, people use it. And I
Mm.
think that's a very great way that we kind of improve ourselves and develop ourselves, because earlier we have talked about the payment system. We don't know anything about it. Do you know how Visa card works after we swiped, and then how the money is transferred and distributed and exchanged? All these things, we have no idea how
Mm.
certain technologies work in certain situations, but we
Mm.
use it because it's convenient. We use it because it solves the problems that we have in daily life. And I think crypto enabled concept will be realized through this kind of applications that has cryptocurrency in the back end, but the people who are using that product doesn't really have to know anything about it, and it's fine.
Mm.
So we will be closer and closer to the daily life, but maybe people won't talk too much about the technology itself, not because it's not important, but it's okay not to know for
Mm.
usage of the application. So the crypto enabled narrative is something that I saw. Okay, we are actually changing. Maybe even I could call it evolution of crypto native
Mm.
people.
Mm. I can relate to that because I saw someone who had never worked. He has more than 20 years experience from core fintech, never worked in crypto. He was always interested in understanding, but not, investing very actively. Here and there a little bit, but not so right. And then he was
Mm,
offered a job. So he dug deeper and he eventually joined. And he said, Majid, the thing is, we need people who have actually built businesses, in crypto, because it's like you said, it's one to be only crypto native. You might not have all the understandings, because at the end of the day you have to fulfill the regulations,
right.
because the rules are also important. The laws are there to protect people. If we Because for example, when you swipe your card, the example you gave with the Visa card or Mastercard, there are regulations of what data can Mastercard store as
Yes.
being PCI compliant.
Mm-hmm.
So the same things need to apply to crypto. Otherwise, anyone can steal money from me. It will become like like a joke basically, that
Yeah.
anyone is just robbing me of my money, and I have no one can do anything.
Yes.
And I know sometimes it feels the regulations are very strict, but because I have also worked with the regulators, so I understand where they come from. I
Mm.
mean, I would not want people taking money from one country to another, laundering money or something. But, so that's why the regulations are important, and we need them.
Yeah.
And also to protect me, my identity. And
Yes.
especially with the evolvement of AI, like you're
Mm-hmm.
able to regenerate your own voice. So I would like that AI doesn't steal my emotion, like how I do things, which might happen, but uh,
Yeah.
but I mean, these are things that we are seeing. And I am also seeing that more serious entrepreneurs are getting into the game. More VCs
Mm-hmm.
are getting involved,
Yes.
because they see it as something that will stay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it might not be exactly Bitcoin; it can be anything, but the fundament that it lays on the floor,
Yeah.
it's really good. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a concept that can be utilized for a proper industry and for support.
Yeah.
But which brings me to my next question of misconceptions, because the problem is also people are scared from crypto sometimes. I still know people who are in 2024. I was, I think I met my friend on New Year's, and I asked him, "Hey, did you start investing in crypto?" And he was like, "No, man, that stuff is too risky." That was his
Mm.
answer, because this guy has no idea about crypto. He's working in logistics and has nothing at all connected with crypto.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of misconceptions, about one, the industry and working in the industry. But
Mm-hmm.
since we are talking about professionals and a day in the life of a crypto professional, what common misconceptions about working in the crypto industry are there that you can share with people who are actually thinking of making the switch or actually starting out a career in
Mm. Mm.
crypto?
I get, I think a lot of people misthink about the industry that if you're working here, then you would know what the price of Bitcoin will be. I'm joking. But that is definitely a big part of it because the way that cryptocurrency industry was accepted was through Bitcoin and the volatility of the price and kind of a nascent asset class. So that is definitely one of the big misconceptions that I have. Um, but also at the same time, I think a lot of people think that maybe you need to know a lot of technology behind it. Somehow, Bitcoin itself, a concept of a money, people understand it very well. And people even know the issues of understanding Bitcoin as a new money, and even how it can be possible. That kind of concept can be accepted. Most people know quite well about what Bitcoin can do, why it is important right now, all that jazz. But when you're thinking about coming into the industry and actually working on it, then a lot of people think that you have to know all the technology behind it, and actually you're often requested to learn about how blockchain technology and distributed ledger technology, all different kinds of cryptography, but in fact you don't have to know all that, in my opinion. There are definitely a limit to it too, but if you want to actually work on this industry, I think the more important aspect is to be willing to learn, instead of actually learning and absorb it right away. You feel like you have to be the blockchain developer or know how to write a code, but I never knew. I've tried, but it's not like I write a code every day and I can deploy it with an awesome NFT or program. It's not like that. But I have a very good understanding of how things work. Not to the deepest knowledge of technical aspects, but in business sense, in marketing sense, in the product sense. All these can be learned through different documentations, different mentors. Now we have so many information that we can acquire through internet, right? Now I believe there are thousands and thousands of books about it as well. So the more important thing I wanted to say is the willingness to learn.
Mhm.
Even though you might not completely 100% comprehend it, but yeah, I think that will be the biggest misconception that people have, that you have to you have to know all the technology behind it from A to Z.
Mhm. Interesting, because people often think, like, for example, I also cannot code crypto. I mean, I can do some coding in PHP, Node.js, a little bit here and there,
Yeah.
but crypto, I haven't never even tried, because I mean, I've been buying and selling crypto
Mm.
as well, and some projects, when you read about those projects, you're just like, I really hope this project works,
Yeah.
because the vision behind the project is so cool that we actually need a solution
Mm-hmm.
for that problem. Like, I remember there was one project, it basically got disappeared, like, after their ICO, they stuck around for like a few months, but then they
Mm-hmm.
burnt out the cash and they had nothing left.
Yep.
It was solving a very specific problem in health tech, and it's a problem that I remembered, that was that was something that needed to be solved, but
Mm.
project was gone because they ran out of funds and they couldn't
Yeah.
raise any money. So it's a little bit also scary sometimes, that you inject money in, and it can be, there is always risk, as we say.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. But
Mm.
now, coming, because we are also coming towards an end, uh,
Mm.
I do have one last question, which is something we'll come to in a bit. But let's switch to a bit of some fun part and talk about food.
Okay.
You were not expecting that we would talk
No.
up randomly about food, yeah? But because, I mean, I'm trying to test out different things to see. Like, I had one recording with someone from Indonesia, and the
Mm.
first question I asked him was, "Do you like rendang and satay?" So
Mm.
imagine if you go to a Korean and you ask them, "Do you like kimchi?" So it's as common as that. So, what kind of food do you generally like?
Are we talking about like nationality
Let's
or
let's let's say nationality.
okay. Oh, I don't want to be someone that is very boring and say I love Korean food.
I mean, Korean food is good, right?
I actually do love Korean food, but I love Chinese food more, I think. There
Okay,
is just so much bigger selection in Chinese cuisine.
really, I don't know. I mean, I'm a fan of Chinese food as well, and they
Mhm.
have this, like, there's a really famous restaurant. It's called, they sell this Peking duck, I think.
Yes,
It's
very famous, huh?
it is always full. I've never been there, but
Mhm.
it seems like something that, if you're a Chinese fan, you should try it out.
Yes, you should.
I mean, I always, like, if I have to go to, like, I'm confused, I would always end up going to a Chinese buffet.
Yeah.
Always the best decision.
But Chinese buffet is I would not even say that is 0.00001% of what Chinese cuisine has to offer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true, because they have to
Yeah.
make something quickly. I mean, in Germany, at least, there are many buffets which are more Chinese slash
Mhm.
Mongolian.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what they say.
Mhm.
I have rarely seen buffets which are Pakistani or Indian,
Yeah, yeah.
because it's very hard to cook the food from Pakistan and
Mhm.
India.
Mhm.
It takes time. For example, I know someone who tried doing it in towards Düsseldorf, and then they couldn't manage it because they said, one, the dishes take us like 6 hours to make, and if we don't finish if the food doesn't finish, it's waste. You
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
imagine cooking something for 6 hours.
I mean, I think every cuisine has that kind of dish, like that takes a long time and effort to cook and
Mhm.
finish. Like halfway would not cut it, you know?
That's true.
Mm.
That's true. The longest dish I know in my cuisine is something called nihari. It's like a beef stew.
Yeah.
And I think every cuisine has this variation of a beef stew, which takes about 10 to 12 hours to cook.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think I could think of different dishes in Korea that takes at least 2 days.
Oh,
You don't have to constantly be there, but you have to
it's
be there a few hours every few hours to check it if it's getting done, you know?
interesting.
Yep.
What food that be?
It definitely is soup. It's also a beef soup, but it's made out of beef bone. So you have
Oh,
to treat the bone before you cook it, and then you
mm,
have to cook it, and you
mm,
have to boil it in water for a very long time, and then you uh we don't really like oily food in Korea, so you have to get all the residue of the oil coming out of the soup like every few hours, like really manually take the oil out of the
mm.
soup, and then you do that for sometimes my mom did that, I think, for one whole day or even 2 days, just to make that right consistency and the thickness of the soup. Then it's ready.
Okay. I
Yeah.
need to know the name.
Yes, yes, of course. I will give it to you. But I don't think
Mm.
maybe it's actually not that hard to make it. It's just
Takes
it takes
long.
long,
Mm.
but nothing crazy that you need from like specific Korean ingredients. It's just
Mm.
boiling for a very long time.
Mm. Yeah, we also have something where we basically, so our food is exactly the opposite. We love fried stuff. Like
Oh,
oil should be everywhere, you know. Like we even
yes.
have, when we have the curry coming in, we will put more oil on top of that, or even on the bread we'll put like clarified butter. You know,
Oh.
that's. I mean, you're like, my mouth is watery, but
No, my mouth is oily.
I mean, but the thing is, we imagine we have bread that is fried.
Yeah.
It's like a fluffy bread. I'm sure you have seen that. It's called a
Yes.
bhatura, or in India or Pakistan, and also called a puri. So it's
Mm-hmm.
it's literally fried, you know, in deep,
Yeah.
like,
Yep. I mean, it
and
tastes
it's
really good.
and it's breakfast.
Yes.
So very healthy.
Yes. I mean, honestly, people kind of make fun of this oily, deep fried stuff in Korea. And if I directly translate it into English, it's something like even if you fry a flat tire, even if you deep fry a flat
Mm.
tire, it will taste good because deep fried stuff is just
It's good.
amazing, right?
It's good.
It
No,
is.
it is good. But
Yes.
now, coming back to our topic,
Yes.
and I have a final question.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see the role of cryptocurrency evolving in everyday life?
Mm. That's a very, very deep question. But the way I hope is that it we won't really talk so much about it. Now there are so many scandals about cryptocurrency. Um, it gets a lot of media's attention because it's scandalous. But in I hope in the near future, when it's more accepted, there will be less news about it, and but more usage of it.
Hmm.
So earlier I mentioned the concept of crypto enabled. That is the future that I hope to see, and I think it's quite reasonable way to predict. So we will see, for example, when you pay for something, cryptocurrency will be there. to for you to choose if you want it. But if you don't use, then you wouldn't even see that there is a cryptocurrency there. You wouldn't even emphasize, and in terms of security service or some sort of platform that needs blockchain technology for whatever advantage it could give, you will see it in the back end, but you won't see it in the front end, because people just used it and no need to advertise it. So
Mm-hmm.
that is how I see the cryptocurrency industry and the role of it.
Mm-hmm. That would be super nice that I just take out from my wallet a card maybe or my phone to pay. I'm
Yes.
just using directly crypto. Not I don't need to go through a five factor authentication, you know.
Yes, I mean a lot of people tried to make that happen, just having that crypto card, crypto credit
Mm.
card, right?
I mean, some of them I know have actually succeeded, but there is still a
Yeah,
process that you have to convert from crypto to fiat money, and then you're able to
exactly.
do that. But I think
Exactly.
now the same companies are actually attacking this problem, that how can they
Mm.
automate this thing, you know?
Mhm, mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Cool. But thank you so much for joining today, Sarah. This has been truly inspiring and also very insightful. So, would you like to share something for our audience as a closing remark?
Oh, thank you for having me. My the pleasure is mine for sure. Um, I think the biggest lesson I've learned in the crypto industry actually is that we're all living each other's life.
Mm,
Nothing is too crazy just because it's in crypto, or nothing is too boring or not worthy because it's not in crypto. As somebody might say, working in crypto, um, and I think it's just worth exploring just for the sake of some fellow human being is interested. And there are a lot of things that we can explore through life, and this Web3 and cryptocurrency, for me at least, is has been the most interesting aspect of my life, because we experiment on the concept of money. And when have we ever done that? Ever since the money was invented.
mm,
And that's fascinating enough for me to check it out and talk to the people who are like-minded and learn. So if you are at all interested in that part of our life as a human, I would highly recommend to reach out to me or Majid to explore more.
mm. So, I will say this again in Korean. Hwan Young Habnida, Sarah.
Thank you so much. 감사합니다.
So, to our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to the executives. If you found this episode valuable, don't forget to subscribe and also put comments below if you agree. And I would have put the link of daily crypto news also in the video. So, share it with your network. And until next time, this is Majid signing off.